we had this discussion. I sent you the text the other day.
Oh, I ain't got it. I'll do that later. Oh, we're live
So,
streamed, are we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we get straight into it now, don't we? Now we've been warming up.
Right. So we're back, and Jamie,
Hello.
I actually done you all of your business stuff, didn't I? Your actual electrical engineer stuff. Well, it's not electrical engineer, actual electrical content. You're welcome. I invented
Sam,
that.
I've ever been negative about your skills in drawing though, because Sam did like an actual electrical content thing for me, which is the one I use, the one that looks like what's it actually say?
It
What
looks
is
like parental consent
off
logo.
the DV off CDs if you remember them kids. So he did me that, and now that's my branding. That's on my invoices and everything. So yeah,
Is it really?
yeah, it's on all my invoices. It's on all my websites, on everything, on my YouTube, the lot. I've
So you've
just
made that
about
your proper logo now.
Yeah, because it's quite. I
Well,
don't
he's
like to
not the
say funny,
first
but it's
person.
quite clever. It's quite clever.
I've done like Mark Allison's logo. I've done that.
It's good at
Um,
art.
I've actually probably done more logo. Like I do all the artwork. I'm quite arty.
It's weird, isn't
Is
it?
it AI, Sam?
No, it wasn't actually.
The two best bits of artwork on this show have been Sam's and then Alan Chan's girlfriend,
Yeah,
which we really like that. Wouldn't like
and
some more
she's
of that.
probably way better than
I
me.
keep meaning to get that as a print and put it on my wall, but if I put it in my bedroom, like you might be looking at me sometimes, which I find a bit weird. So maybe I won't.
Yeah. Do you remember that
Anyway,
weekend? Do you
yeah, I
remember
do. Yeah, yeah. Was that the last time I stopped you in a hotel? The only time I stopped you in a hotel, and I'm saying that because it was only happened once. But what I'm saying is it won't happen again because I think we've covered that. But Sam can let some rippers go. This is a podcast. This is live. Oh my god! But we're getting people coming
Right,
in.
I don't even know what the podcast is about, Jamie. I know that your friend here, Daz Kirk, Daz.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're not looking at the computer, but it's a bit weird. At the camera is like
Uh,
There it is.
yeah, I've,
it's a
I've
bit
I've
weird.
got I've got a dodgy setup. I'm not used to
But
this.
listen, do not be reading the chat.
That is the number
I'm
one
I've
rule of
not
the
even got it
podcast.
open.
That's the
Never.
number one thing. Right. So, Daz,
Yeah.
um, Jamie's asked for you to come on the podcast. I said no because I don't know who you are, and
Fair
he
enough.
insisted. That's not true, but we wanted to get you on because you've got more of an interesting line of work, a bit more specialty. Because yeah, we talked to lots of electricians and stuff during the years of this podcast, but it can be all a bit samey. So we thought we're going to reach out and get some more specialist trades in. And actually, I've got something to talk about specialist trades and how if you're an electrician who does electrical things, you will never make any money as being a basic electrician. Not just saying a basic bitch electrician. I'm saying a electrician in the electrical industry. You're never going to make good money ever.
That is a fact.
Yeah,
So
but this is even more of a fact that it's not even see, like you say, go and do a specialty like I don't know,
why
testing.
you stop using that voice when you talk about people doing something interesting? Oh, I'm a flower ranger. But yeah, Daz, did you start off as a normal electrician? As an electrician?
No. I did an apprenticeship doing electrical engineering. Yeah.
Oh,
But
Uh,
can we
before
just
that
cover
though,
this a sec? Sorry, Dad. I
yeah,
I
yeah,
know it's very early to be cutting you off, but I
it's fine.
need
cutting. He
to
said cutting.
I need to
Here we go. I know what's coming now.
establish some things. What defines you as an electrical engineer?
The fact that I did an electrical engineering qualification.
Don't worry, Daz. He's
And
not. He's not picking on you. He wants you to respond so he can pick on me. So
Yeah,
he's
because
not loving
Jamie
you.
thinks he's an electrical engineer, but really he's an electrician um with an interest in electrical engineering. That would be fair. So he is a hobbyist electrical engineer. You are a professional electrical engineer. Would that be correct?
I can't speak for what Jamie does, but yeah, I'm definitely a
But so
professional
what is
engineer.
your qualification on paper? Let's just define electrical
Oh, yeah,
engineer qualifications, please.
I can't remember off the top of my head what the exact thing is, but it's electrical engineering. It's electrical and electronic engineering. That's what it is. Yeah.
oh, that is
Oh.
flash. I do hold my hands up to any
So
electronics engineers because they are
so
better than
Jamie,
me.
what qualifications do you have that says you're an engineer?
Well,
Oh, I joined a TA.
no, 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 no,
I
no, no.
joined the local scout group, and
I've
now I'm
co-
an engineer.
Let me cover this again. Yeah, one, I've got letters after my name, but it's Eng Tech, the lowest form of engineer you can get. 'Cause can't be asked to do a
That's not
chart or
engineer.
anything.
That's not engineer.
It's literally from the Engineer Council, you
Yeah,
dickhead.
but
It
it's
says
not
it all.
engineer.
I've also got a HND.
In what?
Electrical engineering.
Show me it. Go and get it now and show it to me.
I got my CV down here. I've got one. It's on my CV. Like I've got one. The only problem is, right, I'll be honest with you, right?
What, you bought it?
There was a no.
From India.
I come out of my time in like 1999.
University of India. University of Mumbai.
It's a proper. Like, they're good university, possibly. We're not
The
aliens,
Nigerian University of
I would just
Ankara.
I would just like to apologise to all our Indian and Nigerian listeners for Sam's offensiveness. Right, I'll tell you a true story, yeah, because you're sort of right. About 2000, when I come out my time, I was heavily into disco music and drugs. But I did an engineering HNC at Night College at Loughborough. The problem was, I spent the majority of my time so out my face, I can't actually remember any of the stuff I learned. So although I am an engineer on paper, the actual skills I have in the engineering are somewhat
tell you what,
slack.
I will give you £100
Hmm?
if you can show me your electrical qualifications.
What, my engineering qualification?
Yeah.
I will get that to you. I will get. In fact, I will bring
Right.
the frame down here.
And no, I don't care if it's in a frame because
Where
I could
is
buy
it?
one from the University of Loughborough. But I want you, yeah, not
Right.
Loughborough, but Loughborough. Yeah, I could buy that one too. Yeah,
You
I
sound like
want
the
to be able
agencies that
to
ring me.
verify it. I want to be able to I want verifiable proof you've got a HND because I don't believe you.
Right, okay, this is a weird start to a podcast, but never mind. I'll do that. I'll get that. And I'm also a member of, to be an engineer as well, as does a test, you've got to be an engineering council, is it? And I'm signed up to engineering council. So
No,
I'm
you're
in
not.
I am. What? Why are you so bitter about this? I'm in the Royal Engineers Institute and I've got an Eng-Tech. It's the lowest form of engineering, to be fair, and I really should.
Listen, I could get an Eng-Tech. I could
I'm
get an
gonna drift
Eng-Tech
this-
tomorrow.
But I'm gonna drift this in, yeah, to proper podcast now, because what I'm saying is I've got the lowest one, but if I tried a bit and got the ticked all the boxes and went into the form, I could probably get it. What is it? It's Eng-Tech, then it's
Which means
incorporated,
nothing.
then it's charged to you because you're a dickhead, basically.
I could go and apply for Eng-Tech tomorrow.
Fucking right, I've had enough of this shit. That's what engineering are you? Are you Eng-Tech or are you
No,
incorporated?
I was the bottom one, but I only did it for like a couple of years and then I stopped paying for it.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have to pay for it. So it's a bit of a weird one. It's a bit old, isn't it? It's a bit like back in the day when you have all the letters.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
think it's
finished
more
now,
of a
Sam?
status thing, really.
And this is the thing I tell people, yeah. Some jobs you go to and you can do a good job and you don't need it. But I must admit, when I have moved jobs, I think my HNC and the Eng-Tech bit got me my last job.
HNC or D?
I can't remember. Basically, I don't know which one it is. I'll have to check. It's which one's the lower one?
C.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got an HNC.
Which
but
one? Which one is the one that don't exist?
You know when
Jamie.
you thought, right, I'll give you a clue, lads. Keep quiet. You're only 43. No one checks your CV. So if you've got an HNC, you put HND. No one's going to ask you for the certificate.
This is what I was getting to because this is a kind of there's a shady shit that Jamie will pull. Yeah, he will be like, I've got it, but no
Right.
one can check it.
This is meant to be Daz, but just before we get warmed up, yeah, my CV at this moment in time, if you have received my CV in the last 2 years, is correct, yeah. But I will admit, for a long period of time, there was a lot of bullshit on my CV because you've got to get your foot in the door, ain't you?
Yeah, but who checks? Oh, do you know what? Just before we get into it, Daz, sorry, we have been. This is a worse. Interview.
If Sam gets a bee in his bonnet about mugging me off, he just won't stop for about 10 minutes normally. So we'll just go with it.
I went to this job.
Makes for good content.
Selling photocopiers years ago, right?
You got an H&D photocopying? Show it, man. Show me your H&D photocopying then. Was it Canon? HP?
They thought I was like some sort of reprobate, and they thought that I'd been to prison because I couldn't show 5 years, full 5 years worth of work. There was like a 2 year gap where I'd just done nothing and just like worked for cash in hand and stuff. And they honestly, they wanted me to leave the job because I couldn't prove I wasn't in prison.
That's wild. Why would it matter? And one thing I had is I have actually lied on my CV. I've took all the gaps out. So now if I've left somewhere in like the May and starts to in October.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, because like you say, apparently it's alarms. It rings alarm bells. I don't know why. Like, what's it matter?
Because who don't want like a couple months off?
Who don't want a couple of months in prison like we've both been? Like, it was all right. 3 roll-ups just for going to shower and that. It's all right. But yeah. Have you finished now?
No, listen.
This is Electricians podcast, everybody.
I only found out that Daz was an electrical engineer like 15 seconds ago. So
That's
this is
because,
gonna.
Sam, you're the interviewer. Just so you know, yeah, you're the interviewer. I'm
I
the
didn't know
side
anything
agent.
about this podcast till 10 minutes ago.
That's been working for us up until now.
Right. Okay. So Daz, So you went to so right. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning with my guests, just so as we can get an understanding of who you are, where you come from. Now, let's start at the beginning. You leave school. What do you do?
Went to a local college, and so at that point is where I did traditional sparking. So I went to college to do I think it's a 2330 or something like that,
The, the
Two,
2330.
three,
level,
three,
the
oh.
level two and the level three in tech
Yeah, yeah.
sort
So
of
I went
things.
and did that straight from school, did the level two, did the level three. Um, and then they didn't really explain it at the college, but nobody explained this to me. But once I finished, I wasn't qualified to go into the field. You needed your AM2 part or whatever it was,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
your MVQ or whatever it was.
This is
So
this happens a lot, mate. You
yeah,
ain't.
they
You
they never explained that whatsoever. So I came out of it not really knowing what to do. So I just started looking around, looking for what apprenticeships there was. That seemed to be the route to go. Um, I didn't know anything about electrical engineering. I just knew, electrical as in domestic. So
And that's
yeah,
a
I went
big
and
problem. That whole bit you just said there, that is a big problem with the trade minute is colleges ramming people in to get the bums on seats, get the money, and then tipping the out like you did.
But
So
it's
yeah,
not just
interesting.
at the minute. This is prevalent for the entire time the two three
Yeah,
three has been out.
yeah. I don't know why I said that. That's completely correct. Yeah.
And one of the things is when I did it, because I, because I'm ADHD to the max, right? I was so fixated on getting a gold card that all I done was ask the teachers 500. It wasn't me being diligent or doing my due diligence or any of that shit. It was me being ADHD and fixating on something I wanted more than anything, and that was a gold card. So if that, I promise you, I wouldn't have a gold card now if that course didn't offer it all in one package. Like I went to Bromley College, it was an all-encompassing 360 course to be a spark. That's the only reason I'm a spark now, so blame Bromley College. But go on, Daz, carry on, mate.
So you're out of
yeah,
that,
so that
roaming
was
around.
2011 when I finished that. And then I think they were going to do a third year, and that was engineering related or something. So I went to go and try and do that, and then they told me in like September when the course was supposed to start that they didn't get enough people. So yeah,
Which
that was
shouldn't be a
basically
thing,
me.
but anyway.
Yeah, that sort of left me stuffed. So I spent probably about 6 months just doing like I was waitering and in the bar and stuff like that. And anyway,
Well,
all the
couldn't
while I
you
was
get a
doing
job
this.
out in the field then? Like, couldn't you just go and get a job as a mate or what?
I just didn't know anyone. I think I could
Yeah.
have done, but so what I was doing in the meantime was applying for apprenticeships,
Okay.
and then I ended up getting an interview to one for a local firm that does generators and UPS, and they're basically manufacturing.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I went to that interview, did that. They asked me back for a second interview. Apparently, I found out later there was like 50, interviewees. Anyway, I got it in the end, and then did a 5 year apprenticeship in electrical engineering.
You still there
Um,
now?
no, no, I've moved on
No,
since
I
then.
didn't know if that was the same firm.
So,
Yeah, no, no. So they built generators and UPS systems, and then I went in there to basically test them. That was what I was sort of my apprenticeship was around. They did do sort of these things called rotational apprentices, where you apprenticeships where you went around each department, and you got a feel for what you liked and what you didn't like. But I was solely test, so I was in the test bay doing all the
so
electrical tests, and
is
basically
that
for
where they
5 years.
do? Is that where they do the what do they call it? I can't. It's ramp test, is it?
Fat tests. Fat
No, not fat
factory
Yeah,
test. Why
well,
you got
acceptance.
to be
fat.
rude?
Well, fat
You
test,
know,
that's where the customer comes to see it. So you do
that's
you do your own internal testing to make sure you're happy with that it's ready to go. And then maybe on certain jobs, not every job, a customer will want to come and see that and make sure what they're buying is right and it works and it's exactly what they want. So that's the fat test, factory acceptance test.
No,
how
but
did you get
when you
oh, go on.
when it's out in the field, like when your generator goes into the field, they spool it up. They
Load
have to test
banking?
it, didn't they? Oh, load bank test. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing them. I worked for a company that installed generators for a little while, a couple of years, called Bells. They were really good. Like I really enjoyed that work, but I was probably too nutty to keep a job there. Um, but it is like working on generators and stuff is Really fucking interesting work, isn't it?
I've had a
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
So
I'm sorry. I'd say I've had a conversation with someone earlier. They're going to want to have a word with you, Dan, because they're trying to get into the same kind of game. So they'll be
okay.
watching this with thing. But what happened then? What happened at that place then? Did it naturally span out, or you leveled off, or
Yeah, no. So I finished my apprenticeship. Like I say, it was a 5 year apprenticeship.
proper?
Went and got all my qualifications and all that sort of stuff. And then I stayed in test for a couple of years. But when you've done something for like 7, 8 years, you get a bit bored, or at least
Yeah.
I did anyway.
So
So I wanted a bit of
essentially,
progression.
so essentially, you done nigh on 8 years of apprenticeship with the electrical, and then that.
Well, it was what with the college beforehand, you mean?
Yeah, like all
Yeah,
encompassed.
yeah. It was yeah.
That's a
I
long
was
apprenticeship, boy.
it, yeah. Well, I mean the 2 years at college that was before I got the apprenticeship, but
Did
Yeah,
that
that's
it
what I'm
was it
help?
was
saying.
5 year apprenticeship, and then they took me on, as a skilled test engineer.
Just for anyone who's
Um,
done that, for anyone that's done that 2 years at college and like you come out like, oh fuck, this isn't a thing. Like I've just got this level 2 and level 3. There'll be a lot of people like that. Did that help you get the foot in the door? Was that useful? I know it's not the
I,
best way of doing it, but was it useful?
yeah, I think it was because I think their idea was because I've done them 2 years that would jump me ahead. So I'd do less during the apprenticeship.
And you're willing to
Um,
stay there as well. You prove that you'll stick at something.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it did help because that 2330 course was pretty good. I remember doing motors and doing all sorts of like stuff that wasn't quite domestic stuff.
Mm.
So then when I came to do it in my apprenticeship, at college there, I already kind of knew it all. So it made it a lot easier for me. Yeah.
Just
The
so if
two three
anyone's
three
oh,
zero.
sorry,
Sorry, Jamie, I cut you off for the millionth
no,
time.
so I
The
just
two the 2330 course is quite a broad course, so it does cover quite a lot of motors and all that sort of stuff. It is quite a good broad course for electrical apprentices, and then like you say, it gives you a good base to jump off and specialize. And I just want to quickly make this point. For years, Jamie's been saying about the specializing side of things and how important it is to specialize. And I'm starting to see that at a different level.
yay! Well, work here is done. Goodbye.
But getting back to you for a second, so you've been doing that 3 or 4 years, you move out of testing, and now what are you in? Like, then what do you go into?
So I basically at points during my apprenticeship, I wasn't just in tests, so that was what I was supposed to be. But
Yeah.
every so often, they'd get me in the office to try and help out with not help out on the design side of things, but help out with paperwork and stuff. Because we're doing a lot of oil and gas jobs, and the paperwork is just insane for oil and gas jobs. The documentation they require. So I was in there for little stints, like 3 or 4 months every so often. And during my time in there, I started playing with AutoCAD, and one of the mechanical engineers there sort of gave me a few hints, gave me a few tips, and I sort of took to it quite well. So then that kind of put thoughts in my head while I was doing testing. After I'd finished my apprenticeship, I can probably do that sort of thing. So then, yeah, I just said, look, I want some progression. I want to aim for the design office. And then a job came up, so I went for it, and then I eventually got it. And then it was kind of because I wasn't a design engineer, I was a test engineer, but they kind of put me with one of the other design engineers for a little while, and he sort of showed me the ropes. But I already had all the electrical knowledge, so it was just a case of learning,
Can I
Not
how to.
can I dive down into the design engineer side of things because that's actually quite an interesting role because it's completely away from the tools. And when we think about design engineer, um, for the domestic house bashers out there, and for the low level commercial industrial like myself, when you think about the design side of things, you think about a set of drawings or you think about right, we're going to put a fuse board here, we're going to run this circuit. You're starting to choose cables for circuit sizes and stuff like that. But with what you do, how much more in depth is it, like than just choosing cable sizes? And you're talking about voltage drops over big spaces. Certainly, when you're doing generators, you're having to spec everything to do with that load very specifically. Tell us a little bit about how you dive into that.
Yeah, so my specialization isn't in the generators themselves, it's in the control system for the generators.
Right.
So I was when I say I was a test engineer, I was testing the control panels. So I wasn't testing the engine themselves. What you test the control panel on its own, you make sure it does what it's supposed to. Then you hook it up to the engine, in
Oh,
the alternator.
so I'm right in saying, I hope I'm right in saying that the control panels on are very similar to BMS control panels, aren't they? So it's like a lot of normally on, normally off, and then a lot of like readings coming back to switch stuff over and stuff like that. Or is it a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
different to that now, where you've got a lot more CPU based stuff?
Well, I wouldn't say it's all that similar to BMS, but it's like general automation, factory automation, anything. You get 4 to 20 milliamp loops, you get resistive sensors, you get switches, float switches. So
That's right. Yeah,
the
I
con
remember now.
yeah, and then you've got like a generator has vent fans and stuff like that. A containerized generator will have a big vent fan in it and stuff. So sometimes you need VFDs for them.
Do you know what's funny though? Just trying to relate to it a little bit is when you have things like float switches, the actual theory and the working mechanism behind making that switch like talk to talk to the control panel, it's actually quite basic, isn't it? It's got like the as it reaches up, it makes a connection that sends a 20-volt back to the thing, and then it sort of reads that, and then it's very simple. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
very
Float
simple, but
switches
it's
are super simple. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just got loads of it going back to one control panel, hasn't it? So you don't just have one float switch. You might have like one for the oil tank, one for the diesel tank. Then you might have one for this over here, and then you've got another sensor over here. So you might have like 30 sensors all going back to
Are
one
you
control panel.
reading this? Are you reading us off something?
I've
That's
done
what I
generators, dickhead.
just anyone don't know. Yeah, when you buy a generator, that's we used to call it the asset, the big expensive bit. I don't know, £250,000. Then you'll need another £250,000 to throw at it because, as similar to there, a generator does nothing except generate. It doesn't feed itself with oil. It doesn't monitor its oil, doesn't monitor its fuel, doesn't do anything, doesn't cool itself. You don't know what temperature it's at. All that data needs to be gathered and used. Otherwise, your generator won't run for very long. It just overheat, run out, run dry, all that. So yeah, there's quite a lot going off. But it's all
Yeah,
ins and outs, isn't
there's a
it?
lot of systems around the generator that you need to control and monitor. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
So what do you do? Do you in the realm you're now, do you go, they want a certain generator, we'll buy that raw generator, we'll chuck it in a container, and then you build all the ecosystem around it. Yeah, all that stuff is your
No,
bag.
so where I'm at now, we just do purely the controls, but also the LV switchgear side as well.
Oh right. So you don't
Yeah.
even buy the generator, you just someone goes, we're having this generator, and you build all the controls, containerization for it.
Yeah, yeah. So the
Hmm.
last place I worked at, where I did my apprenticeship, they manufactured the generator and UPSs, but where I've moved to now, we just stick to controls and switchgear. Yeah.
Like when you're designing one of those control panels and all the like Jamie said, all the ecosystem that goes around it, like all the monitoring controls and stuff. How long does it take? Like one of the things is it's like how do you know how to make everything talk to each other? Because yes, you have the control cable coming from the field, comes back, it tells you what's up, what's down, and then that's then got to control something that's got to feed into something else that then controls something else and tells something else to do open or close something else. It's a real like, does it not boggle your mind? Because I've always said like someone like a real engineer isn't someone who can build something, it's someone who can build the machine that builds stuff.
And then the machine that builds the machine that builds stuff.
Yeah, no, but
Sounds
it's
like
like
this has
it's
got
like
thingy vibes going on.
the real G isn't the person who invents the Iron Man suit. The real G is a person who invents the machine that prints the Iron Man suits.
Why does this sound like we're in a tropical thunder? You don't want to be the man that builds the machine. You want to be the man that builds the machine that builds the machine.
Never go full retard.
Oh, you said it. I'll
I
stick me
know, I was
round that.
keeping that one to myself.
He's done it
For
now, never mind.
400 years, that words kept us down.
Well, that's
I'm
probably
gonna
like
stop
no,
right
we don't
there.
get back on it, back on it. So let's give an example of this. Yeah, just so everyone get in the head, because I'm a
No, I
visual
ain't
thinker.
finished. You ain't answered
No,
my
I'm just
question,
going
bro.
to let just because I know pretty much Daz does. So I want to give an example. Yeah, say you've got a hospital. Stop me from running down. So say you got 4 generators that could power that hospital when the power goes off. So Daz will deal with the generators and all the switch gear that get it to the normal power systems and all the things that swap that over, swap the generators over, run, cool, heat, charge the batteries. It's like that's the kind of package, isn't it? Like multiple generator packages to do what I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
call loss of
Yeah,
load
so
replacement and that kind of thing.
so what we tend not to do the simpler stuff because like if you've just got a
All
single
right, Mr. Big
generator.
Boss, calm it
No,
down. All right, yeah,
no,
we get it.
it's just
You're a big
that's
player.
our USP.
He's got an
Like
HND. All right.
So a
the,
lot of that you can
the,
buy off the shelf, though, can't you?
Yeah.
well, yeah, a lot of it you can. The generator manufacturer will provide you with a control panel that will do, a single generator, a single mains or whatever. But the companies that sort of come to us is when the system has multiple mains or it might have so recently there's been a lot more in hybrid microgrids. And what that basically means is you might have a diesel generator, you might have a load of solar, you might have a battery energy storage system, you might have a couple of mains and our job is to basically get all that talking to each other and minimize the mains import and
So
minimize
that
the
is
amount that.
like creating an ECU for that microgrid. I
What
love
are
it.
you reading? What are you reading? Put your phone on the table.
I'm not dumb, Jamie. That's what you don't get.
Sometimes I
Um,
don't know.
but that is
Because
amazing. No,
every
but hold
building.
on, let's get into that. Because what making microgrids talk to each other is something that's a different level of customization
Well,
and
every hospital now is going to bang loads of solar on the roof because even the hospitals one near me, they want the green points. They've got to get CHPs, solar on the roof, heat recovery. So like you just alluded to there, you not just you can't just have load generators sat there doing nothing anymore, waiting for the power to stop. You can utilize them for heating your water,
Can
using
we
your
let him
solar.
answer?
I'm just trying to give a feel because giving the picture, giving the
I'm on
setting the
Jamie tonight.
scene.
I'm on Jamie tonight because
I'm
this
gonna
has
come.
fired
I'm
me
gonna
up.
get when this podcast is done. I'm gonna get in my van, come down your house, and I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
Righto.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. So, like, well, as we talked about earlier, there's a lot of systems that go around the generator, but not just that. A lot of the generators that we get involved with are synchronizing generators. So they'll synchronize. So it's not just a break before make changeover. It'll be a synchronizing changeover where but all the supplies are in parallel or whatever. So you've got the synchronizing to sort, you've got load sharing to sort, you've got all your fuel levels to monitor. You've got to give a lot of the time you've got to give that data to a BMS system. So, the local say if it's a hospital, the estates team, they can monitor how much fuel their generator's got, how well loaded it is. And even some systems have store agreements, and that's basically where most generators just sit there all the time, not doing anything, just waiting for the power to fail. But a store system is where the national grid or whoever runs that area's power, they basically say we've got a shortfall of generation at the minute. Start your generators up and output power, and you'll
Can
get
I
paid
just,
for it.
can I just interrupt you? Yeah? Some guy called Matt Smith spamming the chat with advertising. Now, he hadn't any due diligence and asked us to. So I said, please stop spamming the chat. He just put, who are you? I put, I'm the guy on the right of the screen, mate. So just so you know, yeah, that's me. So if you want to spam it with training chat, ask nicely first so we could check you out. Thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt there. So that'd be amusing.
I'm
Um,
interested now. What was he selling?
I don't know, some training, but we don't like people advertise that kind of thing without checking out who they are, just in case. Just
the
in case.
one of the things like I just find fascinating is if you like when you're building these control units to do all of
Or
that functionality to talk to the BMS, do you have to have like a BMS interface or is that built into the unit? Like this is
So
absolutely
the way
incredible
it used
stuff.
to be, like back in the day, this was all done just purely off PLCs and that sort of
That's
thing.
right, yeah.
And then along came generator controllers and mains controllers. So there's three. I mean, there's multiple manufacturers of it, but the three main ones that I come across are Deep Sea, who are only just 20 minutes from me. I've been to their factory and seen them make them. It's pretty impressive. Comap and Dife. Those are the big three. If you buy let's say like a Cummins generator, it might come with a a Cummins PCC controller on it, but a lot of the time customers are ripping them off and putting on deep sea COMAP or DIFE.
Is a lot of what you do building like an interface in between, or is that like something that you will that like a small processor inside that you'll write a code that like sort of emulates or interfaces between the two, or is it literally like way more
It's
analog than
usually
that?
so any interface between like our system and maybe the site system, the BMS or whatever. In no, 9 times out of 10, it's done over Modbus, which is a
Yeah,
communication protocol that's been around for 40
yeah.
years or whatever. And we don't really have to do too much. So the generator controller has all the data in it. We feed the generator controller with the data. That puts it in certain registers, and then we just tell them what registers they are so they can read it out.
So how long did it take you to be able to get to the level where you could really get to grips with the like because there's a lot of information to take there and then start putting into some sort of logical order. You know, like if you play what is it? Um oh god, I've drawn a blank. But you know, like when you have logic games and stuff.
SCADA, the
And when you
view,
start putting it into logic, there's an awful lot of compute that you have to do to be able to make everything match up and work properly. Where do you even start with that? And how long does it take you to get to a point where you can do that off the cuff?
Well, when you're doing it every day, I've been in the industry 13 years now. When you're doing it every day, what looks to you like a massive big picture, you break down into little chunks, and day by day you just learn more and more. You're learning all these little chunks until eventually you have the full picture and you kind of
just
understand what you need to put
I'm
in.
gonna
And
I'm gonna ask you the question, and I don't expect exact numbers, but this is a question that I certainly want to know the answer to, and it's a question that I expect a lot of people out there want to know, and certainly apprentices will. What are you? What sort of money are you looking at for a job like you're doing in your role, like at the level you're at now? Because it's pertinent to the question, and it's not a rude question to ask. Because someone like me, I'm sort of getting on now. I'm looking at my life and thinking, where did I go wrong? You're looking at your life, and you've actually got this awesome set of skills that you can create these amazing control units. What sort of money are you bringing in, so we
I
can
think
compare?
that yeah, that answer depends on a few things: where you live, whether
Yeah,
you're working for yourself or whether you're employed, and I guess what qualifications you've got, that sort of thing. So
throw out
like,
some figures.
so I would say if you don't live near a city, you're probably talking um very low end, I would say 35 to
Really?
maybe 50. And if you live in the city, I reckon you're talking much more than that, maybe 60 plus. Yeah.
I see. I don't think that's enough.
just to touch on that,
If
right?
you if you if you have
Oh,
your own
sorry.
company,
So
you're making
say you're
mega money.
subbed. Say you're subbed. What sort of money can you look at a day subcontracting on it?
Well, I mean, you don't really subbing's not a massive thing in what I do
No.
anyway.
Not in the power industry. I
No,
noticed that it's just not a big thing.
no, it isn't. You either work for someone or you start your own company. That's
You can't
basically.
have some
Wow.
random subby who might have a bad day maintaining generators on a critical application like hospital. And another thing I want to say, touch on there is, um, I forgot what I was going to say. No, I want to touch on the fact that there, like some say, it's good money in that, but clearly, and I want to make this really important big point, yeah, is you have spent a long time getting to the level you're at, and what we've got to remember is Sparking is sold on Instagram as like a go and buy a load of Makita tools, get yourself a fucking soft tool bag, go out and bang some sockets in, yeah. When we start moving to specialist trades like these aren't jobs, these are careers. These are careers where you sat on your iPad at night reading home reading manuals and looking at things and playing around with all this stuff. This gets deep, and you won't be able to do it in the normal 40-hour working week. You
No.
have to have a genuine interest in this kind of stuff. Sitting around like I do, playing with fucking crap that I know Daz has got in his room now. That's where you end that. Because if a customer has you to use a certain type of PLC for some particular aspect, or integrate with a certain type of BMS system, you'll end up reading stuff about that at night and working out how to integrate and pondering it. So it's like, it's not, these aren't jobs, these are careers. And these figures we turn around that I don't want people sitting going, oh, I could earn that as a general engineer. You will always go in at the bottom in the power industry and you'll get sucked up to the top if you want to stay. That's the thing I found with it.
Yeah,
So
I
Yeah,
that's
think
like just,
I agree. I think you need to have a passion for it. You know, you need to enjoy what you do, and
mm.
I definitely enjoy what I do. But I feel like if you want to be a good engineer, I mean, I work in design now. If you want to be a good design engineer, you have to do more than just your 9 to 5. I think.
the problem I have as well is, someone touched on earlier, is AutoCAD. I learned AutoCAD when I was younger. I just wanted to learn it like you did. I got 2 laptops. I got a copy of AutoCAD that may have sailed the 7 seas, which might be a tip. And I got another computer and I sat there for a week and watched YouTube videos, which there weren't as many about them, and read AutoCAD for Dummies. Yeah. If there's something you're going to do on the side, that's one thing that really helped me, was learning AutoCAD. What
So
about
It's
anyone
not
else?
hard either. It's not like some sort of out of reach skill that you're gonna struggle to get. It just takes time. You just need to play with it a bit, and
So I
But
can
you'll get
relate
it.
to
it's
what you
sorry,
guys are saying actually, because I sit here and this is so sad. I sit here with my 3D printer and say Harper breaks,
you know what I
say,
mean? We're all fucking sat here. I know Dan's got some set up right by his computer where he's now, because
but the other day Harper broke
tinkering.
the lid on a favorite Stitch water bottle. So I then went on to CAD and I taught myself how to use CAD. And I've sat here with my calipers measuring the lid and all that, and I
Oh no.
built one
What are
on
you
CAD.
using? What are you using?
Tinkercad. That's how
So
basic.
that's what I was going to point. I was going to say, if you want to learn AutoCAD, it's prohibitively expensive. It's £500 a year for a base one. Yeah. There's Tinkercad, there's FreeCAD, and there's another one. So yeah, don't be put
Oh,
off when
Is
you.
it
let me tell you.
SkyCAD or something? A lot of people are
No,
using
I'll tell you the
SkyCAD at the
one.
minute.
I
Yeah,
shall tell you the one.
don't Google AutoCAD and go, oh, I can't afford this, unless you go on eBay and sell the 7C
Oh,
sometimes.
bro, I
But
downloaded
there
it the other
are
day.
Tinkercad's highly recommended, because these packages do work. Is it called vectoring? So you don't draw as such; you tell it to go from one location to another at a certain length. So if you are, that's the hard bit to understand about CAD, is that you don't
On
draw
shape,
things
on
on
shape.
shape. Yeah, I've heard of that.
That is the one. On shape is the one. If you really want to get, I'm learning it at the moment. But like you say, if you're in this sort of industry, you've got to want to learn them things in your own time. And I know
Yeah.
people are like, well, if I ain't getting paid, I ain't doing. But if you want to get paid, you need to be doing that shit. You
Don't
need to be
ever do a
learning shit in
job.
your own time.
Don't ever do a job for free. Don't ever go to work and do a job for free. But a career,
Agreed.
and as much as some wouldn't like to admit it, yeah, all that shit you do outside of work is called CPD now. That's the blanket term. It just used to be called giving a fuck or tinkering.
Yep.
And no one's getting, not many people in the engineering trade are getting on 50 grand plus without being a tinkerer, I'm afraid.
No.
So,
Well,
like, well, yeah,
yeah,
there will be some, but like, generally, engineers talk to engineers because they're all tinkerers. They're all fucking around with shit. Like, I've got fucking shit here. Sam's got his 3D printer. Dad's got stuff running around there. And everyone likes talking about it, because if you're just switching off at 4 o'clock and going at 8, it's just not going to work for you. That's electrician job. Great, do that. But if you want to
see,
progress, I think
you
it's
know what's funny?
important.
Someone pointed this out to me the other day, and this isn't me blowing my own trumpet. Someone said to me, well, you're not a basic bitch spark, are you? You talk about it an hour a week. You're constantly talking about your trade and stuff like that. You're obviously more than just a 9 to 5 spark. And he's right. We are legitimate geeks if we're talking about it and doing this sort of stuff. And like you say, if you're, I must be in a bit of an exception. I'm a bit of a unicorn, right? I am the brokest spark of all time, even though I'm balls deep in it, and I'm really like I've got to be some sort of obsessive to be podcasting about it every week and tinkering with stuff and learning all new little skills on the side, and then going to work and still getting like I don't know the basic agency money. It's
Before
ridiculous.
socials, though, which we'll talk about Daz's because he's got some. Before socials, you used to think he was like a boring geek that no one else wants to talk to. But
Yeah,
because
it's true.
socials have come along, you're like, oh, there's some other geeks doing controls on the internet I could talk to. Like, I talked to Daz purely because I was like, oh, like, I think he's on Instagram a lot. I like what you're doing, mate.
No, you
And then,
talk
like,
to you.
you
You
know what I
what you
mean?
do is you trying to get into his inner circle so you can bum him, so as you can be like, oh, oh, look, I'm an
Is
Stop.
that what
engineer
I've got to
too.
look forward
I
to?
hang
I'm
out
excited
with
about this.
engineers. I hang
No,
out with engineers.
but
I
why
must
won't
be an
be
engineer.
prohibited before? If you want to hang around with other engineers, you have to do like a local engineering club or this makerspace and stuff like that. But now you can go on there to go, oh, these people do what I do. And you can find out
And
more. And then
I could pretend to be an engineer.
And not everyone's like that either. I remember like I say, I've got a passion for it. I enjoy what I do, and I think when I was in my apprenticeship, I bought an oscilloscope just because I thought it'd help me with college. I wanted to play around with electronics and that sort of thing, and yeah, I got rinsed for it by the other apprentices because they just didn't. They didn't enjoy it like I did.
I was thinking about the other day. You know these people that laugh at people, right? I've got a wicked example of this. You know that this is on topic. We should be good for this. You know, it'd be for final boss. Yeah, got a mad haircut. He was dancing there like a twat. Everyone can admit that. Yeah, he's dancing there like a twat. Yeah. Now he's not going to be around for long, but he's going to make some money. Yeah, he's going to
Oh
make
yeah,
some
yeah,
coin out of that. And do you know why he's doing that? Because some fucker was laughing at him. Someone got the phone out and recorded him to make him look like a twat. And do you know that person? You don't, do you? Because no one knows that person. That person has just gave him a load of cash to try and make him look like a cunt and fucked off. And that's what you get, coach. People take the piss out of you because you're into it. Where are they going to be in 10 years' time? At best, they'll be basic spit sparking or fucking up over it all. Sam always does himself down like that, but they're not going anywhere. They just want to take the piss out of people for something. All right, when
yeah.
you're 16, 17, it happens, yeah. But as soon as you leave college and that, and there's no one there, and you go, the
Do you know
amount of
what's
times
funny?
I've
The other
heard
day,
people
right?
get jobs because they go and go, you go to a job interview, just quick to finish off, and go, oh, I've got that oscilloscope. And the guy will go, someone on an interview would go, if you ask an interview, they go on and show me how to use it. And if you walk over and go, yeah, they're going to be like, he's not a bullshitter. So, like, it doesn't do any harm, all that, like, stuff like that. Not at all. Even though
The
it's
other,
uncool. Sorry, Sam. Go
the
on.
other day, I went to a job. Well, I was at a job. Is at the school at a school, and I turned up with my fold-out workhorse,
Yeah, you
and
get grief for this, don't you? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "It's my bench." And they was like, "Why have you got a bench? Like, are you joking?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to do it on the floor, am I? Or on top of a wheelie bin? I'm not doing that shit. I want to set up and I want to look cool proper. I want my two grinders on there, one with a flap disc, one with a cutting disc. I want all that there. I want my little box over there with all my bits in, and like, I'll turn up with all them things because I really enjoy that bit. Like, I enjoy that bit. I enjoy it. Like,
Who's
if
going
you're
first
doing
on that
something, you
subbing?
want to do it to the most enjoyable level possible. You don't want to just do something and only half enjoy it. Well, I don't. That's
Was
why
it what was the boxer, the famous boxer, Sam? The most famous boxer of all time?
Muhammad Ali.
Said if I was going to be the bin man, I'd be the best bin man. And like at the end of the job, when the subbers are getting dwindled down, who's going to get fucked off? The
I was the
geezer with
last
a
one.
bench, the geezer with a bench with all his stuff on there, the guy who's axle and a bit of trunking in on the floor, slashing his knee open.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it necessarily for that. I was doing it because I had to do a board with some containment and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to really enjoy this. Let me do that. And I
Make it
think
easy
that's
for
the geek in
yourself.
us. That's the
Yeah,
geek in us.
but what it's a bit geeky, but also it's just the fact is, do you want to employ people, pay people that struggle through the day? No. Whereas Sam, he's off with a bad back because he cuts everything on the floor. Well, Sam's not because he cuts everything on his bench. So
I
that
don't think
geekiness
that
soon
there's
wears
nothing
off.
wrong with wanting to be the best at what you do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's the way I feel like everyone should be. And then you'd have a much better workforce. You'd have a much, you know,
I
uh,
slightly the one problem is with that, and everyone should try and do the best thing they can, but some people get stitched by if some employers, if you give them in, they'll take a mile.
That's
But I
oh
tell
that's
you,
yeah,
my next point.
but what you're
yeah.
saying is absolutely factual. Yeah, if you've got a good employer and you work off them and they look after you, that's fucking great. If you work hard and you know you're good and your employer's taking a piss at you, get fucked off to someone else who gives a fuck and keep
Oh
trying
yeah,
or go on your
like
own.
all of a sudden I'm having a 2 hour lunch break and we're sitting on the toilet for a half hour. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to leave that job before it escalates to that. As soon as if I turn up to the workbench and then they're like, "Oh, can so and so use your bench? Oh, can this other person use your bench? Oh, mate, I'm going to take your bench and put it on the first." Like, you ain't doing shit, mate. I'm out.
No, everyone should try and do the best they can be, and I think that's common. I think everyone listening to this podcast is like that because otherwise you wouldn't bother listening to it, would you? But when you have got a habitual piss taker employer, you need to sever them off and get going doing something else. And as we alluded to on this podcast last,
Let's get back to the pit, like
but
this
we
geeky
divulge
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah, get in. You love
So
it.
when
Sam's
you're
chatting to
using
you, isn't it?
AutoCAD, like I always imagine AutoCAD is for designing things, but it's not, is it?
No, well, we use AutoCAD Electrical. So AutoCAD Electrical is like a subset of AutoCAD, which is specialized for making circuit diagrams and that sort of thing.
Right.
But also we do the 3D modeling of the panels as well. So back in the day, you used to do like a little square box. You might chuck, another little square or a little rectangle for like a HMI or something. But we've kind of moved on from them days now, and 3D modeling is the way to go. You can basically, especially when you're designing switchgear as well, you are able to detect problems in your design before you actually come to build it
Oh,
with
so it's not just
parts that
like
don't fit
Is
or
it what's
parts
that
that
called?
are clipping or something.
so it's
There's a
not just a
part in there.
3D picture of the board. It's literally a functional 3D model.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can zoom around it. You can
Wow.
open the
What's that
door and
called? Well, like, say you had a
A
duct and there's
functional
a pipe.
3D model.
No, when you've got a duct, there's a pipe going through it, which won't happen in real life. Collision avoidance.
clipping,
CAD's
clipping.
collision avoidance. That where it says, "Do you know that this bit? It's this bit,"
Oh yeah, because what
and
they
it
do,
tells you says there's an error here. You've made something hit something.
yeah, because they do
Yeah,
3D modeling on like big new build
BIM, that is
bins,
called.
BIM. Yeah,
not bins, big new build like high-rise towers and stuff like that, and offices where they've got all the services going through.
Yeah,
They will have the 3D modeling, and you do that same sort of thing. But what? So the panel will have the 3D panel will have the same functionality as the real life 3D panel.
Well, it's not simulated. You're not like
Oh no,
you're not imaginary powering it up and
oh no,
clicking a relay on or something. It is just it's the model. But before you come to build it, you're able to see that something does fit in
right.
in all the dimensions, rather than just look at a rectangle on a piece of paper.
which
See, I
and
love
the,
that sort of stuff.
one
I
of the
love that.
skills before was looking at the flats, drawing and going, "Do you know that won't fit?" To a designer going, "Do you know that physically won't work?" Now you don't get them as many clashes like that because you can. And also, what is weird is, say you're buying a contactor, I ain't got one to grab, but say you're buying something like this. Oh, say you buy this fuse. If you go to the manufacturer's fuse, they'll the models on their website. You download that model and then you digitally place it into your panel. You don't have to
Oh
draw
wow.
that. So there, it's called BIM. If anyone wants to get to BIM modeling, so build what I can't remember what it stands for. But
Yeah, I don't know what BIM stands
there's a
for either,
company
but
near me
it
who
is a
use
big thing in London. Is BIM?
a company, Andy, a guy I know, he does Revit. And on Revit, say you build, I saw a train depot draw this. Say there's a lift that lifts a train, but there's 10 of them. The people who draw that train lifter send the train lifter BIM model to the architect, and he puts them in the building model. And then all the surfaces going, and then you can fly through the model. And this guy showed me was amazed. This is 10 years ago now. He flew from the sky above the building into the model onto a single bolt that screwed it to the floor. And that's all
Yeah, yeah.
capable. So
So
you
so
go,
the
oh, this
models
lift
we
don't
make,
fit.
we'll send to the customer as well. So if
And
if they've got a BIM, we can send our model to them to put in their room
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You'll give your part to them and
oh,
they'll
so
incorporate the lot.
so like the uh, often a generator is put in one room, isn't it? And then the drawings will be for that whole room, and so you can build up a 3D picture of that room, and like I don't know, there's a beam in the wrong place, and so you have to move so you can literally design and build that room exactly where everything goes. See, all that sort of stuff is so next level to a basic on the tool spark like myself that can appreciate CAD and that sort of maker side of things, which I do think you kind of fall into that category, don't you? You fall into the category of rather than a tradesman, you fall into the category of a maker.
Well, it's manufacturing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're manufacturing control panels or you're manufacturing generators, and then so the person who owns the building or the consultant or whatever. I don't know who actually does the building part, but they'll put the model together and make sure it all fits together and yeah,
And
Do you know
someone
what's
like
make
you
the
will
mixture
go,
interesting?
right.
someone
Do you
like
know
you
what's
will go,
interesting? I
oh,
wonder
God.
if your industry is driven, like the innovation in your industry is driven by your industry or is driven by the makers around your industry. Like, so you're like your independent makers that do something similar, they come up with an idea to make that simple, make that making process easier, and then some like your industry will pick it up, and then do you know what I mean? I know it's a bit out there, but I do often think about things like that. What's driving innovation in your industry? I suppose that's a question to you. What do you think is driving innovation in your industry?
I'd say it's the industries we work in. Data centers,
Oh yeah,
They're
the amount of
wild.
data centers being put up now is ridiculous, and the amount of documentation they want. So these software companies, like AutoCAD or whoever, it could be anything. They're making these softwares to make it easier to build data centers or make it easier for the manufacturers to build their parts in the data center. Or,
Or to
And
bring,
then,
or when it all comes together, it all fits. There's no fuck ups basically on site, is there?
yeah,
well,
yeah, that's it. I guess it's down to cost, keeping the cost down. It's much, much cheaper to fix an AutoCAD model than it is to fix
Many
a
years
mess up
ago,
on site.
many years ago, we built some switchgear that had to fit through double doors. So I'm sure you do that. Someone will come to go, we need some new switchgear to this switch room, but it's a built building. It's got to fit through double opening doors, double disabled opening doors. Yeah. And we designed and built it all. Now you do that in BIM. You LiDAR the building and take the stuff in digitally, see if it fit. We had to have it all made in plywood. And we had to physically make it in plywood and drag it through the building, see if it'd go in. Then when it was done, we took it back out, went, see this box? It's got to be the same size as this. Whereas now that would be done digitally. It'd just be
Well,
like, oh
imagine
yeah,
if
we've
it
messed with
didn't fit.
doors.
If it didn't fit,
Oh
they
yeah,
cost,
yeah. You start
the
taking
cost
lintels
to
out and
change
stuff.
it or rebuild is crazy. Yeah.
so um, not too long ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I worked on a data center as a consultant. And in that data center, they had a company called Blade Room Data. And what they have a lot of proprietary technology that probably fits into this conversation really well, where they've got one of the biggest problems in a data center is cooling,
Mm.
and so energy and cooling. So energy input, and with that comes a lot of a lot of cooling. And what they do is they have a proprietary system for cooling data centers. And I guarantee you, the sort of stuff we're talking about now plays a massive part. The way in which that the heat is controlled and recycled within a data center is all down to controls and PLC. Guaranteed.
Yeah, you don't want to cool a data center 0.1 of a degree more than you have to because that will cost you thousands. So like all that kind of
Yeah,
efficiency
we've
drive.
done jobs where the data center is going to have 53 megawatt generators on. These places, some of these data centers are literal power stations.
Yeah, they are.
The the amount they consume and the amount they need to back up, and data center spec as well is like they want everything dual redundant and all that. So they might have only needed 20 or 25 generators, but they bought 50.
Well,
Um,
the new compute centers that are popping up for AI driven models, so they're not called data centers, they're called compute. So the amount of data they can crunch to do the stuff that an AI needs is a compute center. They are
Yeah,
literally they are literally designing um thorium reactors to
that's
power them
like
yeah, in
nuclear
America,
by
reactors
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
themselves.
isn't it?
What's
Yeah.
mad is if you could put data centers, and there's been microgrids, if you could put a data center near a hospital, which you a lot of time can't because of land around it, you could provide that hospital with all the heat they want for free. And
Oh, for sure.
that's going to become a thing. They're going to say, look, we can't keep building data centers in the middle of nowhere and pumping all this heat outside. They're going to start saying, for example, there was a swimming pool down Cornwall, I think it was. They let them put 3 data racks in a building in a leisure centre and use that to heat the pool. But you can't just do that and get the money. You've got to provide all the generators backup and all that. It can't just be on its own. But that's got to be a thing in the future. That will lead to a lot of jobs in this kind of technical area where heat recovery and all that. I know
Well,
Centre Parks,
one of
as I
the
know
most
before.
popular places for data centers at the moment, because it's easy to cool, is Iceland. They're blowing up in Iceland. There's two
Some
things they do in Iceland really well: data centers, because of one, they got a lot of thermo power because of like it's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
active. Two, because it's easy to cool, and three, they do a lot of frozen like chicken processing
Two
in like
pound pizzas.
like for KFC and stuff like that. They do a lot of that
I
I
out
knew
thought
there.
you
you'd
were on
have to
about
get
Iceland
KFC
the
there.
shop.
Why are you doing this? Making me hungry at 7:30.
I
But yeah,
thought you were
this
about
is the
Kerry
thing. This
Katona and
integration,
Peter Andre
this,
there.
this integration is specialist skills that are going to be more energy. Forget about all your renewables and that for the time being. Yeah, simple stuff like build a data center so we take the heat away. All going to be controlled by control. So if you want to
Yes.
be a basic bitch park, I'm not slagging off basic bitch park. I'm not saying don't be an ass bastard or something like that. But I'm saying if you want to go a bit further and try a bit harder, and you're willing to put the hours in, this kind of thing, we're in its infancy with CHPs and stuff at the minute. It's going to be big. Combined heat plant. It's going to be something that you get into and do all this code and stuff like that.
I do think like We haven't really got into enough of the weeds about what you do, Daz, but we are running short on time because
Can we cover
it's.
it as a socials though before we go?
But I do no, we're not going anytime soon. Chill out,
Oh, no,
Jamie.
I thought it was
Right?
just gonna, I thought you needed a wee or something. He's going to just fuck
No.
off like you
What
normally
I'm
do.
saying is, I think we need to explore this side of the conversation when it comes to electrical engineering. I think we need to explore this side of the conversation way more because this is really where we want to start moving to. Do you worry, though, in your sector, how prevalent the AI input is going to be?
No, I see AI as a tool, like a spade, like a screwdriver, whatever. It's there to be used by us to improve our efficiency. ChatGPT gets a bad rap, but it can help. It definitely can
I
help.
think you can.
You need to know what you're talking about first. So I might ask it a question that I have some knowledge of, and it might give me an absolute load of rubbish back. But I know enough to know that it's talking rubbish.
Yeah, do you know what? There is actually a little bit of a trade popping up around AI at the moment, and it's prompting. Knowing how to prompt ChatGPT, and well, the new most powerful AI model at the moment is Grok 4.0. That's blown everyone out of the water. But AI is only as good as the prompts you give it. So drilling down into the correct prompts for your trade, you would have to have a foundational knowledge at the moment of your trade, of your skill set to be able to get it to work for you. But that's only at the moment, and the rate in which AI is evolving, I am quite worried about where it ends for people like us. Like on my level, before like I think it's going to be a good 10 to 15 years before they're deploying robots on commercial sites to do my job, right? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
What, smoke fags and go to the toilet for ages?
Well, I don't smoke, but I do
Yeah,
go
but it
toilet
wouldn't.
for ages. But for
Robots
your
are like
job,
that. What are you doing? I'm doing fuck all again, like Sam.
but for
Sorry
your
for
job, do you think that you like if I if you gave it enough prompts, it could generate the work that you do using CAD?
I think that well, I mean, I don't just do CAD, but I think that the problem with what I do is the customer don't even know what they want. So it's half the
Right.
they change their mind every 5 minutes. They don't really know what they want. So I have to come up with the system that will work for them, sort of thing.
and that's based on
AI
your
might
other jobs, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, AI might
experience you
get
take
there
from other jobs.
eventually, but if the customer's changing their mind every 5 minutes, it's not got no any
It's a
hope.
conversation, but I don't think anyone watching this podcast in our lifetime we need to worry about a job like. I
I
don't
think
think
you're
AI's.
wrong.
I don't think AI is going to work out. No one's going to have an AI design and manufacture a piece of switchgear that runs a critical
You're wrong.
aspect of something
You're wrong.
and put it into a data center and hope it works for at least 20
By the
years.
end of 2026, I'll guarantee AI can do that.
It'll design control panels now and it'll give you drawings and stuff, but they're all wrong. There's no way it will replace some humans, but it will always need to be extensively checked by a human for our lifetimes, I think. You are not going to design a panel and the robot goes, oh, sorry, I made it too big. And the simple fact is, it still needs data input and it still needs to know how big a door is, how wide a door is, how
Yeah, but
heavy
that's
something
just
is,
data and
how
it's
much a floor
readily
can take.
available. It's how
Yeah,
it
but it's got
computes
to be
that
put
data.
in that at an individual site. That data's got to be gathered. How thick is the floor? How wide are the doors? And the computer's got to take it in and never change it and work with it.
But
And
imagine this, right? Imagine this. Imagine that AI now has access to all the blueprints of every building ever made.
mm,
Now it does.
AI will write code for PLCs, right? And
Now,
it will
now
do, but it's
imagine
riddled with
this.
errors.
Now imagine this, that the AI has access to every security camera in every building that's ever been made, and that it can update a 3D plan by just using the camera to populate that 3D plan, and then uses that to create the PLC and anything going in, the
I know what
generator
he's
going in.
saying, but there's going to be specialist applications where the building don't exist, the building's not been designed.
You're
I
not
know he's
wrong,
saying,
but
I know
what I'm
he's
saying
saying
is that window's closing quick, bruv.
it can write code now for PLCs, and I've used it to write code for like Arduinos and stuff. But you do often find it's errored or it's got rubbish in or
Did
it's
you
got like
know,
bad bits in.
Daz, did you know that Jamie wrote a piece of code for SpaceX as well?
Just make it out.
What did you write
I
on,
just
Jamie?
made that up, same as you make up a lot of shit, Jamie.
No, I'm saying no. You're working off it, knowing it. Like I've used it to write code for a little smart relay to see if it'd do it.
SpaceX.
And I told it what went in and what went out, and it didn't go right job. But there was just a few lines stuff in there that were a few ladder logic, which was crap. It just didn't do anything.
Did you
And it's the
know
same
that
though, isn't it?
Jamie went on a
If we can't have a serious conversation anymore, yeah,
Well,
I'm
let me
just
give you
gonna
two
go home.
examples of where I've used it that have been pretty good for me. So I don't know if you know Excel, you can do macros in there, and that
Yeah.
uses a language called Visual Basic Application, VBA. I don't know any VBA, I know nothing. But what I did is I got ChatGPT. So as part of my job, I need to make cable schedules. You know, I need to say where the cable's coming from, where it's going to, how many cores there is, what size the cable is, what it's for. And what I did is I got ChatGPT to write me some macros that semi-automated my cable schedules. I just populate the important data. It takes care of the formatting. You know, it adds on sequentially, gives cable numbers. You know, that's sped up me making cable schedules by
I've
miles.
said for years, if you
That's
want to
one
do
of the worst
anything,
parts of my job. I can't stand doing cable schedules.
the first thing you need to do, yeah, if you want to get to a specialist trade, yeah, but before you start asking how much money, if anyone's watching, before you start asking down how much money he's on or who he works for or how to do what you do, yeah, please just learn to use Microsoft Office because even ChatGPT will return it in an Excel or a Word format. And it's like one of the most basic things. Like people going, I ain't got a PC. I'm like, I'm afraid you're gonna need one if you want to get into some game like this.
Did
You
you
need to.
know that Jamie has a badge for his scout group called I created a spaceship for NASA? He's
Have
actually got
you
that badge.
have you hit the wall and need a piss that bad? And you just turn to a piss take of me so you try and leave because it won't work. I'll stop here for hours, mate. If you want to go.
Oh,
Anyway, we've got to go. Anyway, Stars, before we do go, do all your socials because they're really, really good. If you want to get into
So I'm
this, Daz
on.
is giving this shout for free.
also, I would like to openly invite you back on again, Daz, because I don't think we've scratched the surface. Not even like I think we've covered maybe 1% of what he does.
Oh, who's
Yeah,
this you've
yeah.
got on? I don't even know who he is. Oh, who's this you put on? I didn't know about this podcast an hour ago. Now you're fucking asking him back on, you fucking suck ass
No,
bastard.
yeah, I'll be happy to come back on. Yeah,
No,
I'll
because
get a better setup as well. Sort the camera out a bit better, and
I really think what you do is important in terms of it really opens up another direction because I've I've really tried to get myself into a new line of work around the sparking industry, which I failed at the beginning of this year, failed miserably. However, I look at what you do now and I look at stuff like what you do, the where I'm working at the moment, I'm working at the interconnector station in Sellings,
Interconnector.
and I
Yeah.
find it all fascinating. Like they're all they're all like
Hi, hi.
sparky adjacent trades, aren't they?
That's a very good word you've come up with here. I like that.
yeah, I would say
I like that.
a really good sidestep from domestic electrical would be panel wiring. Panel wiring has a lot of, well, I mean, when you're doing domestic, you're doing wiring all the time, but
Hmm.
this is wiring, but you know, hundreds of cables doing 1 mil singles
Yeah.
in trunking and that sort of thing. That a lot, I think a lot of domestic sparks don't look at what other avenues there are that
No,
they
I think
have
it's
the
right.
skills for now.
What you said there about failure some as well. We know if you're sparking, you know if you're doing electrician at college, yeah. Right. Someone shows you how to chop a floorboard out. You might get it wrong the first time, you get it right the second time, yeah. It's low level learning. It really is, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get into this kind of stuff, you have to be prepared to do lots of failing. Because sitting there trying to connect to a PLC with your computer and get the software and the communication protocol to work and do all the coding and try like that, it's just fail, 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 fail. You fail till you get it right. So like, don't get down in the dumps about that because
Well,
I
maybe you could give me Elon Musk's number and he'll show me how to do it.
can't even be fucking nice to this dickhead. Right, get it rid of him. Can you leave now, someone for a job? No, but, look, but I think a lot of people are sold. A lot of people are sold on Instagram. There, this is not. These are not shortcut trades. You don't just get into them. What are you grinning for,
No,
Cheshire Cat? You dickhead. Oh, you're grinning at me now. Fair enough. But yeah, it's not shortcut. There's no shortcuts. To this shit. The money is there when there's no shortcuts.
Jamie,
Yes.
how like
Go on then, spit it out. I can see you grinning. Like,
do you know what? I was actually going to just ask you a legit
well, don't
question to
fucking go
relate
on
to
then.
that
Oh, go on then. Go on then. Go on
Daz.
then.
Like, how much of what you do relates to what Daz does?
What me?
No, the other geezer
No,
prick.
well, I think once you're into PLCs and code and stuff like that, it cross over a lot. But I used to do the lowest form of level up ECN engineering, kind of stuff Daz makes, working on the deep sea stuff and the compact stuff. But again, when you've got a controller, we call them PLCs, we call them all sorts of stuff, yeah? It's just a box and things come in that say things and that makes decision based on what you've told it and it sends things out. So if it's the temperature is too high, it says turn on the fan. And then when the temperature gets too low, it says turn off a fan. The best way to explain control engineering is, cruise control in your car, you tell it you want to go 30 mile an hour. It then applies the throttle or brakes it to maintain them. That's called a PID loop if you want to get really into it. Cars are full of it. When you flick your indicator stalk in your car now, there is no direct connection between your indicator stalk and the indicator. It tells the computer the button's been pressed and the indicator comes on. That is all done by CAN bus, which is a communication protocol. That's the way to think about it. Look in your car and just remember everything in your car, air conditioning, cruise control, in some cases steering, yeah, it's all fly-by-wire, which I think people understand. You give it instruction via some sort of mechanical device and it does it. Think about a Tesla, it's only got a touch screen. It's all done on communication. That's the way everything's going. Is that a good enough answer for you? Do you like that? You think about
Well,
the indicator in your car, aren't you?
well,
It's not
my
wired up.
car doesn't do that. My car has a direct link to a solenoid.
In what? Your indicator?
Yeah, it
I
doesn't go
bet you,
via the
I
ECU.
bet you in
I
your
bet it
car,
don't.
I bet you it goes via CAN bus. I
I
guarantee
bet
it.
you it goes to what they call it. Fucking the repeater thing, that the little square
A
thing that goes
relay.
in.
On your indicators. It will, but most modern cars now,
Yeah,
everything's CAN bus.
mine is a
Why are
2000
you holding your
and
mic like you're on some
a
one
two
of them
thousand
dodgy
a
podcasts?
2007 Navara. Yeah, it
Fair
don't
enough.
have no ECU shit like that.
And it's an interesting point, but no, because remember, a mechanic back in the day would have put the indicator on, tested for voltage, and worked his way back down that cable to find it. Now they'll be plugging a laptop in, seeing what
Yeah, they
module
will.
was broken like that. So cars are a good one because a lot of technology is like is done there. It's cheaper. That's done because it's cheaper to use the computer to control the indicator in front
Relay.
of the car.
Thank you, Pegasus.
It's cheaper to control. You have to Google, you have to grok relay. It's cheaper when you flick a switch to tell the front and the back indicator to come on via communications than it is to wire it with a bit of cable, which is wild. So yeah,
I don't think
look at
that's true.
them. It is.
I
It's
don't think
cheaper
so.
to implement that.
No,
It is. That's why we have
no,
controls. What?
no, no.
That's why we use remote I/O. It's much cheaper
Yeah, it's cheaper than
to have
wiring.
one single
Don't
communication
fucking agree
cable.
with him, Daz.
Daz, you can come back on now, Daz. That's it. He's revoked it, but I'll let you on. But yeah,
Daz,
it's
I'm very sorry for this. I don't know, unprofessional nonsense interview. It's not really an interview, it's a convo. And I'm really glad to have had you on because actually I could talk to you for hours about geeky stuff and really trying to pull the information out of you. But I have a Jamie, and that means that nonsense gets spoken. Um,
So good,
Daz,
yeah.
what's your socials, boss?
So on Instagram, TikTok mainly, and YouTube, it's Logical Controls.
And
which
what
will
sort
be
of
in the show
content do you throw
notes.
up there?
Well, I don't like doing the long YouTube videos, so I tend to stick to a couple of minutes, and it's mainly about what I do, programming PLCs, maybe using a multimeter, relays. Yeah,
Short,
I do all sorts to do with.
bite-sized chunks in it.
Yeah, yeah,
I check it out.
I'm not a fan of the long
Is it on
form stuff at the
Insta?
minute. I've got it on Insta, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm mainly on TikTok. That's my main
Oh,
platform.
do you got to make me download the Chinese
But
spyware app?
you do chop it across to thingy, don't you? You do send
Yeah,
it across
to be
to
fair, I put the same video on all three, so yeah.
so it's
I'm going to
there.
check it out when I go and sit on the sofa now and just sit there and eat chocolate.
It is
Um,
really good. It's the same as like Ledger Proved. I get really annoyed because I make like half an hour videos digging right something, and this pair come along and make a 2 minute one that does everything I've just said, but without all the bullshit. So I'd rather
but you
recommend
did
them.
it before. You used to do it and you forgot how to do it, but you did it before.
I think you're just your drugs wearing off. You're talking gibberish, mate.
No, no. What it is, Jamie's already done it, even if it's not been invented yet.
I'm afraid I only do videos about things that would have been invented. I'm afraid. So yeah, I'll stick to reality. Unlike you, who's on some fucking different planet tonight. Memo to yourself: don't do a podcast with someone on Wednesday night again.
Right. Listen, Electricians podcast. We are out.
Uh, I saved that for you, especially.
Idiot.